Southern tomato pudding takes me straight back to family shindigs and lunches at the Circle restaurant. Today, I'm going to show you how I make this old school favorite. To start out, I'm using a 28-ounce can and a 15-ounce can of whole peeled tomatoes. Now this next ingredient I'm showing you is completely optional, but it adds some depth of flavor to the dish. You won't even know it's there. It's a sweet onion, and I'm only using a little bit. So let's get started. True Dana fashion, we're going to start off with a stick of butter. No, I'm just kidding. We're just going to use a few pats of butter there to get those onions sauteed. We want to soften them, or as they say, sweat them out. So we're not going to do any caramelization, just to get them a little soft. Now, for those who have never tried this dish, I know that tomatoes and pudding don't exactly sound like they belong together. And you know what? At one time, I probably thought the same. But once you taste it, it will totally make sense. You know, tomato is a fruit, right? So think of it like tomato as a fruit pudding. Once those onions are softened, go ahead and add your tomatoes. I actually broke it up a little bit before I put it in the bowl. Also, the juice from the smaller can I actually preserved separately, and you'll see why shortly. Now you can see I'm just taking out the end piece because I thought I had cut off some of the little knobs at the end, whatever they're called. Now I'm not adding all of it because I want this more like a fruit cobbler today. Sometimes I love it a little thinner, but this time I wanted it in true cobbler fashion. And boy, oh boy, if you try this way, you will not be disappointed. Now I've cut off some of the ends of those tomatoes because I did not want the full dish to be full of them. And all you're going to do from that point is just let it go for a little while because we're just trying to thicken up that sauce. The juice, if you want to go with the more liquid style, maybe you've had it before and like that texture, you can go ahead and use all of it. I'm just going to hold that over to the end if it's needed. And I'm just going to put a little dash of salt. Not a lot, because this is not the savory type. You can forego the sugar in this with no issues. Now I'm going to add a little bit of cloves. I think I did a pinch of clove and about a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. It's all up to you. If you like it a little bit more spicy, go right on ahead. But for me, I just want a hint. Now you can't make this pudding without the bread. This is actually what creates structure. I'm using 4, but actually I used less because these were nice, large, thick slices. I think they're the Pepperidge farmhouse white bread. Normally I use some little cheap bread, but I needed something a little bit sturdier. It's almost done. It's thickening out really nice, so I'm going to go ahead and add sugar. This is 3/4 cup of unpacked brown sugar. I did not press it down, and of course 2 tablespoons of white sugar. You know, a little white sugar makes it really sweet. That brown sugar adds a nice caramel flavor to it. Now I've cut this video a great deal because guess what? You do not want to sit and watch tomato sauce or tomato pudding bubbling. I'm going to taste it now to see if it's sweet enough for me. It's important that you do the same. As you see, I got a sweet tooth. I just threw a little bit in. You don't really need it. So while that's thickening it up, and remember, don't let it get too thick. We need something for that bread to soak into. I'm just going to finish off this dish with a little butter in it. Is that a little? You know, you got to add flavor to the pan too. Now, for those who are thinking, can I use fresh tomatoes? Yes, you can. You can blanch them and peel off the skin, or just dice them up straight from the garden vine and put it in this dish. You can even mix the two. It's all on what you have on hand. Of course, I just added more butter. I don't know what's wrong with me and butter. Can you believe I still have butter left over? And we're going to finish off this dish now. We are at the end. So now I want to add in some extra flavor. I'm just adding a little bit of bottled lemon juice and just a little bit of vanilla extract. I don't want to put too much in because I don't want to overpower this. That's why I'm using bottled lemon. But if you want it brighter and a more lemony flavor, by all means, use fresh. Alrighty, so now it's time to add the bread. You decide. You want to add it to the pan, or you're going to take this tomato base and pour it over the bread. I'm actually going to do the second one. I'm going to add the bread. It's just torn up, no uniform pieces. I just tore some big and I tore some small. And I still got plenty left over. I can't believe it. Now I'm just pouring it over it, and I'm just going to lightly turn it to make sure all the bread is soaked. I'm not going to do a lot of mixing because I want it more cobbler than custard style. What's so wonderful about this dish, it's not always about expensive ingredients or the perfect presentation of it. You know, some of our best recipes come from people stretching what they had because they had a whole lot of folks to feed at the table. But at least it was full of love, right? So busy blabbing. Look, you can also top that off with bread, throw some butter, just dip it in a little bit of that pudding if you would like a little crust on top. Now you see it is almost done, bubbling in the kitchen. There we go. It is done. You know, my lighting ain't the best, and it don't have to be pretty, but it sure did taste good, y'all. I almost finished that whole pan. I had to restrain myself. Look, I can do that because I didn't have any fried chicken or fried fish with it. I ate it hot. All right, y'all, I gotta go now. Thank you for spending time with me. If you enjoyed this recipe here, make sure you check out my Southern Comfort food playlist right here.